Are you ready?
I'm always ready. I'm not Glenn.
3, 2, 1, record. Wait for me to say, oh, here he is. Let's give him a second. Let me start when he shows up.
Hey. Oh, give me
You.
a second. Give me a second.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a public information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 20 of 2025. I'm Chris Louie, and just bought Magic cards for the first time in 25 years.
Magic cards.
With me, I have my co-host, the Cloud God, who I know will have some choice words to say.
I mean, did your unicorn onesie come in as well?
That was on back order, Brian.
I will say, once you figure out how magic is done, it's usually not that interesting. There was this one dude at the mall, like when I was a kid, and he'd be flicking a singular card from like around his body and then catching it with the other hand. I was like blown away, and then I was like, all right, I gotta figure it out. I spent like $200 for the trick, and it was like a piece of wax and string. It was like anchored to your ear, and then it was on the card, and then you just flick it. It would be centered on there.
Oh, is it the one that goes around your body? That flies around your body?
Yeah.
Thanks. Wax and
But I will say I learned it pretty well, and then I was doing it like in a grocery store once, and like little kid was blown away. So it was $20 well spent.
there you go.
I thought those were like Pokemon cards that he had bought.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, Glenn's on the right track. Magic the Gathering cards, not magic trick cards.
That's exactly. Okay, so I was right. I was right.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean magic cards?
Magic the Gathering. It's a collectible card game.
Oh, wow.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons, D&D type stuff.
Did it come back with your virginity?
They're coming out with a Final Fantasy collaboration. I'm like, ugh, can't resist that one. I was out of the
Did you buy it
game
at
for
Costco?
a really long time. No, just some local card store. I like to support local businesses. And we have Glenn Medina, who desperately wants the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA Finals.
$5 goes a long way if they would just win. It doesn't look too good right now, though, does it?
They're down
You gotta
3 to
get
1.
Curry back in.
Yeah. Is he coming back today? I don't think so.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. They said a week. It's been a week, so hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the curse continues. We're just plagued with postseason injuries.
Yeah. It's not their year. It's not
Yep.
Jimmy Butler's year.
No, it is not. Although we knocked out the Rockets, so we have that going for us.
That was awesome. I'm okay with that.
Well, no guest this week. Believe it or not, the guest who we were supposed to have on when Olivia was on flaked yet again. And I got a message from him maybe 10 minutes ago and says that he has to bail because he has a customer dinner to go to. So he bailed on us.
Customer
He's
dinner
in a
only
different
2.
time.
What's he talking about? Yeah. What's going
He's in
on?
a different time zone. He's traveling.
Oh.
Yeah,
But
to his credit,
he's only a sled guy. What's he doing?
he went out of his way to accommodate us in the show, and then this customer changed on him last minute.
All right.
That
Brian,
does it, Kobe. You're grounded.
Talk to your son.
Yeah.
Combined, we have decades of information security experience, and here not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This week, we're going to talk about scammers preying on victims, AI replacing your job. For our third topic, watch out for your Counter-Strike skins, and finish with actually, I had to change topics. I had a topic specific for Kobe, and then at the last second, I had to call an audible. So the closing topic this week is actually the FBI doing something good for a change.
All right.
Programming note, Brian actually does have to leave a little bit early, so if you hear him drop out, that's why.
Yep. I was not kidnapped by the FBI.
Well, FBI,
open up.
FBI, open up!
For our first topic, just when you thought scammers could not go any lower, the FBI is warning that scammers are now impersonating FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center, or IC3, employees to offer, quote, help for fraud victims to recover their money lost to other scammers. Over the last 2 years, the FBI has said it received over 100 reports of fraudsters using this tactic. The scam works by creating fake social media accounts, usually with photos of attractive women. These scam accounts go on to support groups of crypto fraud victims, and they say they are are with IC3 and they recovered the funds, or they know a person or company who will help them recover their stolen money. As you may have guessed, there is no way the victim is getting their money back, and this is just a ruse to re-victimize these scam victims.
I would never fall victim to this because it would have to be an attractive male profile for me to get duped.
What?
The profile picture.
What are you talking about?
Well, is this like, think about it, like the people that are getting duped are just probably lonely men by these fake attractive women at the FBI. I don't believe it. You got to be a little bit skeptical, right?
I'm always skeptical. Aren't you always skeptical? I'm
skeptical.
always skeptical. Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you not be skeptical?
It makes you wonder though, like that you must be batting a higher average. Like if you had two accounts, like one was an attractive female and one was attractive male, like is it 10-1? Or do you guys think it's closer?
Depends on the vertical. If it's like a male-dominated field, then maybe the female gets picked. But maybe if it's a female, then the male will get picked. Maybe, who knows?
I think men are just dumb. I can see that.
She
wants
loves
to be
me.
my friend. Yeah.
Forget the fact that you've never dated before. She loves me. I just got to tell you something.
Yeah. Looks like. Go ahead.
Usually the scam works. Like the person will say, "Oh, I know a person that can recover it," and then they connect them to that person. It's like, "Oh yeah, I recovered your funds, but you need to pay me a transfer fee, or you need to pay the customs duty. They got to pay taxes on the money we recovered," and then they just usually collect that money and then disappear.
They should come up with something just ridiculous to see how dumb people are. You got to pay for the blinker fluid fee. The blinker fluid, yeah. There's lights on the thing. They blink. You gotta refill that.
Well, I think that's no different than the old tactic of people knocking on people's doors before to say, "Hey, look, you need me to paint your house," and they set up, but you got to put 50% down, and they take off with your money, right? I don't think that's any different, but it's just moved on to online.
That's real? I just paid some guy 50% to paint my house.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, better watch out, Brian.
Yeah, same scam, different pretense this time. It's just any kind of advance fee type scam. Pay me money and you'll get lots of money, but instead of it being the typical like Nigerian prince, this is like trying to get your own money back after you've already been scammed.
What a slap in the face, though, for the FBI, right? To get impersonated by scammers saying that they are the FBI. Isn't that? Wait, hold on. That is illegal. That is like double illegal because now you're impersonating a federal agent.
That is true. And if they ever catch them, Glenn, they'll actually add that charge to their crimes.
Yeah. Cool.
Speaking of bottom feeders, to all the competitors, or let me start that over. Speaking of bottom feeders, speaking of the the competition that listens to our podcast, I know you're doing it. I know you're listening, and I know who you are, man and woman. And my advice to you is, you want to keep eating shrimps with the wimps. You want to have lobster with a monster. I'm just saying, come through, leave, and come to the good side. And that's all I have to say about that.
Eat shrimps with the wimps.
Hidden meaning.
I love it.
Eat shrimps with the wimps. But what if you love shrimp? What if you like shrimp and you're not a big lobster fan?
You could, but you're just you're eating shrimps with the wimps. I'm trying to rhyme words here, Glenn. Or lobster with the monster. So
lobster with the mobster.
All right, Eminem.
Monsters.
Come on, man.
Monster, not the energy drink. Gosh, you guys are so dumb. By the way, if you guys are hiring our competition, Chris and Glenn, you guys can take them. Just kidding.
You don't want them.
Just kidding. We don't want them anymore.
Competition already took Glenn.
Oh. You've been bounced around a little too much.
Who, me? I just once, maybe twice. It's been a while.
Twice.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah. It's okay. You're happy. That's all that matters.
Yep, exactly. So we tell the kids when they're losing 20-1 in soccer, as long as you're having fun, it's okay.
No. You
No.
don't do that.
Never tell your kids that. I don't tell my kids that. Yeah.
Dad doesn't love you anymore.
Yeah.
Do not.
My family.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris, don't coddle. Don't coddle.
I want you to stick it in. Yeah, I want you to just stick it to
Hey,
them.
where are you going with this, Glenn? Wait a minute. These are 6-year-olds, Glenn.
I want you to score and keep scoring.
Is that you make them cry and then you laugh at them for crying, or you make
That's
memes
right.
about them crying?
That's right.
Yeah.
You just build them
Right.
up so you can knock them down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Builds character.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, losing is actually a life lesson. Believe it or
Yeah.
not. Some people don't like the idea of winners or losers, but losing is a life lesson for some. And just like
That's
losing your money and contacting the FBI, that's a life lesson. Like
Ooh,
you should
wicked
learn.
tieback.
Yeah, you should learn. Yeah.
I think it's Finland. Finland has a national failure day where you get to celebrate your failures because they say failure is good as long as you learn from it.
Yeah, you can win, or I'm sorry, you can learn from winning, but you can also learn from losing. I'll tell you what, winning feels a whole lot better.
You learn a lot more from losing.
Yeah, you do. Don't make that same mistake twice. Unless you're the Golden State Warriors.
Well, at least they're in the playoffs, unlike Phoenix.
Yeah, your
I
Suns.
didn't
Where's
say I
your
was
Suns?
a Phoenix Suns fan. Yeah.
Ooh.
96 Chicago Bulls is all I care about. So,
Fair enough. Fair enough. For our second topic, cybersecurity company Crowdstrike announced they are cutting 5% of their workforce, or roughly 500 employees, citing improvements in AI as one of the reasons. Customer-facing and product engineering roles are not affected, so if you are looking at an AI-proof job, you should definitely start there. This follows, as we reported a few weeks ago, that Shopify is making AI mandatory and that no new hires will be approved unless you can prove the job cannot be done by AI. I saw posts on X and Blue Sky indicating that many of the impacted jobs at CrowdStrike are in the incident response consulting arm of the firm.
So you're taking AI into incident response. So you're building basically playbooks. Is that what they're doing? I
Probably.
mean, that's pretty much what they're doing, right? I mean, saying that they could do that, but there
Assume
still has to be a
breach.
manual check, right? So instead of a team of 10, now you could do it with a team of 1 and 9 AI bots going at it.
Just make them way more productive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not cutting everybody, but they're making deep cuts into that org, and maybe it's like log parsing. A lot of IR is just a lot of log parsing and looking through and memory dumps and looking for artifacts, and a lot of that, yeah, at least in my opinion, looking from the outside in. Of course, I've never been in IR, but a lot of that seems like it can be automated. Like same thing with our agent logs. A lot of it can be parsed, and you can say this is the exact reason. You have an AI agent analyze and say this is the exact reason. Something that take a support engineer 3 hours to figure out, an AI agent can just scan it and find it out in 3 seconds.
I think there's still a long ways to go, though, to be honest with you.
I mean, how many employees does CrowdStrike actually have, though? 500?
Here's a math problem, Brian. 500 employees is 5% of their workforce.
Oh, it does say, yeah, I don't know. Is that like, they have 1 million people? That's a lot.
Yes. The largest private employer in the U.S.
It won't
they
be private. They're publicly traded.
They have 10,000 employees.
Oh, wow. So here's something interesting. I wonder what you guys' thought is on this. So I was talking with a CISO the other day, and there is this giant mandate of using AI to replace a lot of the entry-level jobs. And he's like, man, if I look at, I've been here for 20 years, and if I look at my team of people, I have historically grown entry-level people or help desk people, and I've grown them in their careers. Some people leave and some people come back. But at the end of the day, when I start looking at my people leaders, I look at my enterprise architects or data protection architects or security architects, they all started at the bottom. He's like, so now how do I continue to do that now that AI is going to replace a lot of the help desk entry-level jobs?
Yeah.
So it does make you kind of scratch your head, like where is the barrier to entry? And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, maybe it's like you're a systems engineer, but you're there to help train the AI at a very superficial level. But even then, I think the understanding what you're looking at as a quote unquote entry level AI, doing his thing, the cursory knowledge is like so much more than you would if you were just like an entry level person, like scraping logs, as Chris was saying. So I think that there's going to be a fundamental change in how we grow people in a company. I don't really know what that looks like. What do you guys think?
I think I agree. I think you're onto something, right? It's like, where do you learn the fundamentals of work? other than an entry level position, right? Like I was telling someone, it's like I started at McDonald's and Little Caesars, and I was working there, and there you learned a little bit of like how food is cooked, how food is made. You learn about the cook line, right? Like how you start with meat here raw, ends up being cooked here, and the assembly line to build that, right? And you learn about processes, and you learn simple things like coming to work on time and being dressed and having a smile on face. Yeah, soft skills, right?
Exactly.
Then you transition that to like when I got my what I thought was my real job, my first real job out of the Army and out of college, where I thought I was doing really well, and my first task for the week was inventorying a storeroom. Right, nothing to do with help desk, but it taught me, a lot about how businesses work. So again, I don't know how people are all of a sudden going to get these skills like you're talking about in order to become, where they are, where some of these people are today, right? Successful people that have many, many years of experience in the field, right? As opposed to someone who just comes out of college and expects to manage a team of 10 with no experience whatsoever on even what to do from their job. Basic
AI
functions,
is part
right?
of the solution. And I guess there's two thoughts of it. So the first thought is companies like Klarna, they said they cut half of their support staff because the other half is just going to be replaced by AI agents. Like when I did help desk, I was at help desk at Iron Key. We sold USB drives that had passwords on it. Literally half the calls we got was I forgot my password. I'm like, yeah, an AI agent can definitely walk you through the process on how to recover or reset your password. And then there were calls that were very involved, like a lot of live troubleshooting, like, oh, that's when you would go over to a human. And that's probably the direction. Like the entry level jobs, I don't think they'll all get eliminated. Many of them can be automated. And then there's the other thought where you said, who's going to train it? Who's going to keep an eye on it? And that gives rise to a new profession that if you have a AI agent that's now your lawyer, well, you need a lawyer to train it and to review it, because we've seen time and time again, AIs will hallucinate and they'll start citing cases that don't even exist. And people have been disbarred over it because they don't check their work. So you need a lawyer to review your lawyer AI agent. You need a CPA to review your accounting AI agent. So there's going to be another class of people, professionals, that are just going to be training and like proofreading their work.
So you say that, but at the same time, we will judge a doctor for not using AI, right? Like they're going through some symptoms and like, nope, you don't have IBS, Brian. You just have stomach issues, right? Like Taco Bell syndrome, right? But meanwhile, like AI is a little bit more comprehensive. So it's kind of funny that it's like on the entry level job, we're like, oh, it won't be everything, right? We'll still have something. Like, what do you have to do? Live troubleshooting and walk them through it. But in the same breath, we're like, yeah, AI is going to replace doctors. Like, I don't know. There's a weird lull right here that I don't necessarily agree with. And I do think at some point in time, like maybe AI will be able to do that live troubleshooting session. Click here, highlight the thing. You know what I mean? Oh. Make these edits and see if your connection works now.
Yeah.
It's all about the training data.
I haven't seen a platform yet that I go, man, this is really good. I like the ones. I like the fact that you can ask it questions and it responds back without a lot of commercials or
ads.
Ads. It's great, but I have yet to find one that actually is great. Like, help me create this spreadsheet or this presentation, and even the ones like, hey, help me create an image of the three of us on a podcast. and based off of these things, it's like, it looks nothing like reality. It's like, you've got 6 fingers and Chris has, I don't know what the heck he has for hair, but yeah, mullet. Mullet. I think it's coming. I just don't think it's there yet. Right. So
it's prompt engineering. That's like Victor can generate some pretty good AI generated images. I'm getting better, but I think whatever Victor uses is pretty spot on too.
I don't think I've ever noticed. I'll have to look a little bit closer.
And all the inappropriate ones he's been making lately in our group chat.
Oh, really? That was him? That Twitter?
That's all AI generated.
The one of like our competitors kissing each other.
And, didn't we even talk about like? Didn't we even talk about that? You can insert a topic, and then you can have an AI generated podcast right? Where they're actually communicating with each other, stop, pause, have it answer questions, do a Q&A session, and then continue on. Like,
yeah, even ChatGPT 1.0 was able to do that.
We should dabble in that.
Yeah, 4.0 and Grok 3. Just for the record, I still do the show notes every single week. We have no AI helping us out. Maybe that's a criticism. I need to use more AI on the podcast.
Yeah, give me 3 topics and see what it spits out. It would probably be the worst podcast known to man.
Yeah.
So Microsoft is releasing a new version of Windows today. Like, okay, great.
Yeah, but we'll see where this ends up going. It's interesting that they cite it. I think they're the first cybersecurity company to actually say the quiet part out loud, because I think Google and Meta and Amazon, I'm sure, they've laid off tens or hundreds of thousands of people, and they're still as profitable as ever. They call it the year of efficiency. I think Satya Nadella was actually coming out and says 30% of our code is now written by AI, so that's 30% less developers potentially, or more, that they don't need.
Dude, hats off to, what's his name? Is it George Kurtz? Is that who the CEO is?
CEO of CrowdStrike, yeah.
Yeah, the dude is transparent, if anything. Maybe he's not, but at least when it comes to incidents and doing stuff like this, he just comes right out and says, hey, this is the way it is. And he owns it. And I think that fares very well with the public. I could be wrong.
I think so. I think they can appreciate some honesty. Yeah. Not have to hide behind.
How did the street respond? Right?
More efficient.
Did their stock go up after that announcement, or did it go down?
It dropped. They went down.
Dropped, right? So
yeah, Wall Street dropped the price, and then thanks to other factors, the stock is sky high, just like ours. I don't know about yours, Glenn, but at least ours is at a 52-week high.
Yeah. Enjoy that.
All right, for our third topic, breaking news today that the details of over 89 million accounts on the popular gaming Steam platform have been leaked. There's been news that 89 million account details have gone up for sale on the dark web, so now would be a good time to change your Steam password. Steam accounts are more valuable than your average data breach victim account like Facebook, because Steam accounts have libraries of dozens or hundreds of games, plus valuable in-game items like Counter-Strike weapon skins. It's not clear right now how the breach happened, but Steam and their vendor Twilio are both denying they've been breached. The culprit may be a third-party company that handles the SMS two-factor codes for both companies.
I think the craziest part about this is Steam has 89 million accounts. That's kind of insane. A lot of gamers
more
out there.
Yeah, I think this is the only ones that got leaked.
Right? It's a game platform that connects other games together, right? From
other vendors, primarily right? PC though. Yeah. So they're multi-vendor, but they you can't get Steam on PS5 or Xbox. It's only
what I'm saying. Well, you can get Xbox games on Steam though, right? Like the games that Xbox plays, because they're all just.
I'm trying to think. I'm not sure if
there's nothing that's very specific to Xbox that you can't play on Steam.
Yeah, like a lot of the Microsoft properties, no, and even like Call of Duty, they're on Blizzard, they're not on Steam. Like Fortnite is Epic, so it's still pretty walled. But Steam, I mean, you can get a game, like if you have your favorite game, it can be published by Steam, it can be published by Epic, it can be published by EA, it can be published by Ubisoft, but Steam's just one of the platforms.
Yeah.
Do you have a Steam account, Chris?
Of course.
I don't know if I should say now. It's kind of trying to steal my skins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're a Counter-Strike fan. So yeah,
I've talked about it on the show. I have a Steam Deck, which requires me to have a Steam account. So yes,
I have a Steam Deck too, but it's this does buttons.
You have a Stream Deck.
Stream Deck.
Stream, not Steam. Yeah, I'm not a gamer, so don't care.
Doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
You just play Monopoly.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I still have Donkey Kong on something. So.
Original Nintendo.
Yeah. I think it's on the SNES that I haven't taken out in quite some time.
You guys getting the Switch 2? That comes out next month.
I'm not. Probably not. My kids, one of them maybe, but definitely not me.
I barely play my Switch 1. Like I don't need a Switch 2 right now.
Yeah.
So you guys remember Cody Anderson, guest of the show? We were talking yesterday morning. It's like, yeah, man, I've been, he wants to create his own product, so I won't divulge what exactly it is. But he's just going through there. He's like, I'm literally just creating it with prompts. Like I'm using, I think he called it Windsurf, and then Claude are the two things he uses for generating code. And he goes like, you have to understand like a little bit about coding, but it's phenomenal. He's like, oh, I need to do the password reset. He goes, that's usually the bane of your existence, of like trying to put that into play, of creating the button and the email and validating it, and then the OTP, and it comes in, and you force them to do the reset password, all that stuff. He goes, there, it's just like, this is what I want to get done. Do this process for me, and hit enter, and it's just like, boom, creates all the code for him.
Nice.
Yeah, in seconds. I was like, man, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Windsurf.
And before you had to pay a couple $100 for that, right? You had to pay a couple $100 for somebody to do that for you if you wanted to farm that out. So
not even an offshore developer. Yeah. They could pay $200 to open AI, and you could have it in seconds.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that Twilio, right? Do they handle the MFA? Twilio, they do the MFA stuff. Yeah, that's why that got kind of prompted to my mind. And then change your password. Someone's got to do it. But I'll tell you what, like I'm so gun ho of just using Grok and ChatGPT that I forget that there's other GPTs that are out there that probably do certain things better.
Yeah,
especially coding.
I wish I had an assistant to help manage my calendar. That I need.
All right, everyone that's listening. Yeah, I'm going to drop here in a couple minutes. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
You need the Optimus robot, Glenn. Once that comes out this year, it'll plug into XAI, have your Optimus, and it's like I see on the calendar, go pick up lunch from Taco Bell. Your Optimus drives into your self-driving Tesla, goes to Taco Bell, picks up your lunch, drives home, brings it to your door.
Nice. Well, that's what's missing right now, right? From AI is the whole human factor, right? Ability to move things in itself, right? The interaction piece. Right, so until you can plug in a robot to tell it to go do something for you, then it's not very automated right now.
That's what I was thinking. Like the other day, made a Costco run. My truck bed was full of like heavy stuff I had to unload. I'm like, man, I wish I had Optimus that could do this. But could it really? Because like I parked near, pretty close to my garage door, and they have to squeeze between that and a bush. And I was carrying this heavy box in. I'm like, could Optimus do that? Or have robotics gotten to that point where they can move like humans?
I think it's coming. I don't think what they've done yet is it's matched the robotics with intelligence. Somebody's working on it, right? But I don't think it's quite there yet.
Yeah, that's why they wanted to combine X with XAI, and I'm sure Tesla's gonna fold into XAI at some point.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're supposed to get that in Robotaxi this year. We'll find out if Elon's able to deliver on all that and more.
Do you think that'll be a bomb like the whole was it the Oculus, right? The
VR.
The VR stuff. That really just bombed out. That I don't know if that went anywhere or did anything. I didn't get one, and I don't know anyone where it's like there's a crave that they're flying off the floor right now, right? So
no, yeah, like the whole metaverse thing and Meta rebranded like that. You haven't heard anything about the metaverse in the last 3 years because of this AI revolution.
Yeah, same. I mean, was it the Apple whatever, the Apple goggles or whatever the heck they're called?
The Vision
I haven't really done anything. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I really thought those were going to revolutionize a lot of things, specifically around like form factor. Like if you look at your laptop, like, do you really need a laptop anymore now that you've got goggles and you've got the horsepower inside the goggles? I don't know if that's there.
Yep. Well, the Apple glasses are supposed to come out soon, and the Vision Pro was supposed to be a precursor to that.
Ugh. Yeah. I think the problem is there's no clear. I don't know. Depending on how they build Apple goggles, right? Like if you look at some like Bose, they've built it is it Bose or is it Oakley that built it where you can play MP3 player music out of it? There's a little bit of there's a little camera on the front end. It tells you if it's recording or not, but there's no real display still on the lens itself, right?
Yeah, I have a coworker that has those Meta glasses, and it just like Siri on the phone, he has to say, "Okay, Meta, what am I looking at?" Or "Okay, Meta, what's the name of this painting?" And then has to connect to his phone, take a few seconds, search it, then come back. It's like, "Oh, the painting you're looking at is the Mona Lisa." And it's still severely crippled too, because I was annoyed that my coworker was wearing these glasses around me. So I gave him the middle finger and I say, "Hey, ask Meta what you're looking at now." And then the glasses said, "Oh, you're standing in the middle of a bar." Like it doesn't recognize humans yet for some privacy reason.
I don't think we're that far of a leap through. I mean, if you look at it, Tesla's been out now, full electric cars have been out now for over 10 years, right?
Yep.
And it took a while, and you look at it now, and there's electric cars everywhere. I think we're still in that infancy stage.
Yep. It's range anxiety.
Yeah.
Well, I guess more of a uniquely American problem, because they said in China, where people's first car is an electric car, they don't know any better. They have zero range anxiety. They just figured like that's how cars work. You just got to charge them up every couple hundred miles.
They're also of the mind of just leave the car where it's at, and I'll just go get another one someplace else, right?
It's disposable.
Yeah.
Well, AI revolution, man. What a time to be alive. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. We're going to see how things change. Interesting enough, like I said, 89 million accounts. That's a crazy number for that are just gaming. That I don't know if that's like, would you consider everyone that has, like, does everyone that have an Xbox or a PS5 or whatever PS number it's on today, would you think that they would have a Steam account as well? And is that representative of a majority of the accounts that are out there, right? And I'd like to say probably not. There's probably more in sales on PS5s and Xbox than anything else.
Yeah, probably. I'd venture it's safe to say if you have a Steam account, you probably likely also have a console. I mean, not everybody, but probably more often than not, I would say, because it's just a ubiquitous gaming platform.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we have a common friend. He's got a Steam account. He's just recently ordered or pre-ordered the whatever that is, version 2.
The Switch 2.
The Switch 2. Yeah. And I think he's got an Xbox or a PS3. So he's multi-console, right?
Yep. Multi-platform.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of games you want. Most people are like PC only, but if you want some console exclusives or you want it to just work and not have to worry about crashing and drivers and everything, then just go with the console.
Yeah. I don't know how he finds time for work and family at the same time, but he seems to.
He doesn't. He ignores both.
He ignores both. Oh man.
All right, for our last topic, and it'll be a rotating topic every week. This one does tie back into InfoSec, and it's a story about how the FBI track and froze actually millions of dollars that were sent to the Scattered Spider ransomware group by Caesars Entertainment. And this ties into our story we did last week about Scattered Spider, of how they were able to successfully hack both Caesars and MGM. MGM did not pay the ransom, and they were down for days. Caesars did pay a ransom. It was believed to be around $15 million to these kids. And the FBI was able to trace it. They were able to trace it. They were able to track it down. They were able to freeze it, and they were able to recover a bunch of the money that was sent to them. So the ransomware crew did not get a payday. I don't know if Caesars got their money back yet, but it's at least frozen, and we can see exactly on the blockchain where it is. And I think it just goes to show that ransomware and cryptocurrency, it is immutable, right? It's a public ledger, but it's not as foolproof as it used to be. You still have to launder it, you still have to withdraw it, you still have to move it through all these intermediaries and hope you still don't get caught with it.
That's what I never understood, right? Like a lot of people saying that it's anonymized, but It can't be because it's digital in form, right? It's not like a
pseudo.
$20 bill. Yeah, it's not like a $20 bill where I pass it around. Pseudo anonymous is, but it's still digital, right? And like we've learned anything else from anything else, if it's digital, it can be tracked.
Yeah. And I guess a good analogy for laundering cryptocurrency is if you ever watched that movie, The Town, it was with Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner. It's about bank robbers. And there's a scene where they go and they rob a bank. They steal, call it $300,000 in US $100 bills. And of course, the banks track the serial number. So what do? They buy $20,000 worth of drugs on one side of town. Then they, with the stolen money, and then they flip it and they sell the drugs to a drug dealer. They get $20,000 from somebody else. And now it's in clean money. Or they go to a casino and they get rid of the money. And there's different ways of laundering it that way. And very similar to cryptocurrency, you send it to Tornado Cash. Everybody just sends their money, and there's just one big pot of money, and then you just withdraw your money from there, minus a small commission fee. And it's really hard to tell, who put money in and who got money out.
Yeah, it'd be funny if you see that, like, hey, there's a bunch of people that hit a GoFundMe for this one person, and they dumped a whole bunch of the stolen Bitcoin in there.
Yeah,
but it's for a good cause. Yeah. And you're like, actually not. So
yeah, therein lies the dilemma. Yeah, but I guess I remember a while ago where there was one ransomware group. It might have been Ryuk. One of the ransomware groups I remember. They said if you pay your ransom in Bitcoin, call it $20 million. But if you pay us in Monero, it's only $15 million because Monero is much harder to track than Bitcoin. And if they get the Bitcoin, then they have to launder it. Laundering it takes time, it takes money, it's a risk. So they prefer Monero, but Monero is harder to get than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's more ubiquitous. So I'm sure the ransomware groups out there are aware of this, and that's why they're offering incentives for people to use.
I'll give you a discount. I'll give you
like Zcash or Monero.
Yeah. I'll give you a 25% discount for going Monero.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good work. It's good work. Good on the FBI to do that, and we got good old Kash Patel running the FBI, and his saying is "Let good cops be good cops," and this is good detective work. Good, getting Caesar some money back, and hopefully they'll track down these scattered spider kids and put them in jail.
So U.S. based kid, if these are U.S. based citizens that end up getting caught, bad for them, right? This is going to be a bad day for them. I guess bad for them because they're U.S. citizens and they'll end up serving some time. But if it's an international base, we still have to go through that whole clearing process, right?
Yeah, and the scattered spider group through the group, the COM, they're mostly U.S., UK, maybe Australia based. I think we caught one of them in Brazil, but pretty friendly to the U.S. in terms of extradition. So they're not getting away. Like if they were in China, North Korea, Iran, or Russia, like forget it. We're never going to see them. But these seem to be young English-speaking people in countries that are friendly to U.S. extradition laws.
Ooh, it's gonna be rough. I told you I don't like silver bracelets, right? So
yeah, that's why we stay on the right side of the law.
That's right.
Yep, and but it is. I think it's a net positive. The FBI is getting better at these things. Our blockchain forensics, I think, are getting better. I don't hear much from chain analysis anymore. I think I hear more from, I think it's Eclipse or Eclipsium, one of those companies. Are still these blockchain forensic firms that are able to track things through the blockchain. And again, not as anonymous as some people had hoped.
Yeah. What do you think's changed now that's made it come to light? Is it because it's just totally used out there and it's so big it has to be traceable, like the fact that all these accounts, whatever, these chains, they're all numerized, right? There's something associated with them that people are going after.
I think the change now is that all the exchanges that did zero KYC, the know your customer checks, and did no anti-money laundering checks or anything, they're all out of business and they've all been arrested. So I think all the easy low-hanging fruit ones, they're all gone. And the only ones that we have left of the exchanges are legitimate ones. They check ID. They implement AML, which is anti-money laundering protections. Even Binance, the world's largest exchange, they got hit with billions of dollars in fines for not doing proper anti-money laundering checks, having those checks in place. So I think the law enforcement side is catching up. The technology is catching up. Like 5 years ago, if I called my local police station and said somebody stole my Bitcoin, they'll say, "What's a Bitcoin?" Right? And now there are people that are like, "Okay, this is a cryptocurrency theft. We'll take your report. We'll forward it to this department, financial crimes department." And I think it's education, and then on the other side of it, I think all the low-hanging fruit of these shady exchanges are either shut down, arrested, or got hacked.
Yeah, so I was actually talking to a friend this past week, and they were telling me that they had a bunch of stuff in Bitcoin that for on a, I guess they were keeping it on at a store, kind of like a Coinbase or whatever, and that company has since gone defunct, and they don't have copies of any of the Bitcoins that were there. Well, I gotta ask you, like, in that situation, there's no recourse to get any of that back, is there?
Pretty much no. I mean, if they like rug pulled and they're just gone, then no. But if it's like Mt. Gox where they went insolvent, which means they just ran out of money, like the money that they were holding didn't match the amount of money that was in the bank, there's a receivership process. The same thing with FTX, same thing with all the other cryptocurrency exchanges that went out of his Bitfinex, same thing, that there are going to be some assets left, and then they're just going to have to distribute that over a period of time. I had a buddy of mine, he got his Mt. Gox payment, I think it was late last year, and it had been like over 10 years since they've gone out of business, I want to say.
And what
that's
percentage
just how long it took to unwind. I think he got back the dollars, but Bitcoin 10 years ago was worth like $30. If he had like 3 Bitcoin, I think he got $90 instead of 3 Bitcoin today would be worth like $300,000.
Yeah.
I think he got the dollars back, but not the coins, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, and I think that's to say, right, that the whole point there is don't trust these institutions and keep them in hard wallet, right? And
hardware wallet, cold storage when you can.
Yeah. So it's a shame. It's a shame. I don't think a lot of people understand that. And maybe we can just have a session just on that, a little bit of education on that.
Yeah. If somebody in my circle, his email, I'm trying to think of all his accounts. His email got hacked, his Instagram got hacked, and the way everybody found out was he posted on Instagram like a picture of a brand new Escalade. It's like, I normally don't post this kind of thing, but I just treated myself to a brand new Escalade, and if you want to be rich like me, go check out this person's page. And it's of course a crypto scam page. And then I messaged him directly. I'm like, did you get a Escalade, or is this a scam? Because for me, it's a telltale scam. But I'm like, maybe he's just very proud of this Escalade he bought. I'm like, no, he got scammed. So they got his Instagram account, they got his Facebook account, they got his email account, they got his Coinbase account. So he lost the money that he had in Coinbase. I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, if they get your email, they get everything. Unfortunately, and then that was a lesson, actually, a teachable moment for my wife, where I said, yeah, this can happen. MFA all the things, and we went through all of her accounts, made sure they all had MFA on it, and same with me. Like, I'm sure there's things that I miss, but then it's a good wake up call again to just have good proper security hygiene and just MFA all of the things.
Yeah, I got somebody was trying to get into one of my to a PayPal account of mine, and I saw the MFA come up, and it was like, hey, do you allow this? And I'm like, no, like, what the heck is
Change
this?
your password.
Yeah, so I quickly got on and I changed my PayPal password. So I was like, and then enabled other types of 2FA, right? I was like, oh my God, this is not good. So yeah. It's interesting.
Passkey, all the things.
Do you think passkeys are safer though than anything else? I mean, because it's passkeys tied to your computer, right? And that's the only way that they'll get access is you have to be on your device.
It is. I would say passkey is safer than all the other ways. I would say it's less convenient than all the ways. That's always the balance, right? You can be scary, you can be convenient, because then you have to have your computer, or if it's Apple, you always have to have an Apple device. If you switch to Android, how does passkey portability work? And Still a lot
Yeah.
of questions about that, but
But that's still,
passkeys
I
are
mean-
phishing resistant.
Yeah, but if your laptop gets stolen, technically they'll have your passkeys inside there, though, right?
Right. Yeah, they will. But your laptop should have a good, strong password on it to begin with, and file encryption.
Yeah.
Like you said, we can do a whole topic about this personal
Yeah.
safety. Maybe that'll be for next week. Personal
Yeah.
safety tips.
Yeah, let's save that. Let's save that for next week.
All right. Well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week it was supposed to be our guest, but our guest didn't show 2 minutes before the show, and I'm not going to spring it on any of you guys, so I will take one for the team here.
There you go, Chris. Ransomware. No, that's not it.
I go to Kentucky Fried Chicken to get the kids something to eat. They wanted the kids' meal with the leg, so I said, kids' meal with the leg, and the lady says, which side? So I'm just in complete silence. I'm like, well, why do they need to know which side? So I said, I don't know, the right side? I don't know what the difference is. And they said, after several moments of laughter, she says, no, honey, which side would you like to go with the leg? Mashed potatoes or wedges?
Wah, wah, wah. That's a good one. That's a
true dad joke moment.
Which side? Left. I want the left side.
Left side only.
Yeah. You ever go to, like I said, this is another one of those dad moments here. Like, you ever go to Buffalo Wild Wings and the amount of wings that they sell out there, you go, God, how many chickens are walking around there without their wings?
Yeah. Wingless chickens.
Yeah.
All right, to wrap things up, watch out for scammers trying to re-scam victims. AI may replace your job soon. Change your SIEM account password right now. And the real FBI is doing good at recovering stolen crypto. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us all on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to our listeners and subscribers. Rate us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify, and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast in your favorite podcast listening app. Marcos, Brian Deitch, Glenn Medina. I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next week, and as always, have a nice day.
And Kobe, one more strike and there's no suit for you.
Calling you out, Kobe. No more flaking.
Have a nice day.